What's up, Mountain Toughers? We are sitting down here at one of our round tables, diving into a new vertical that we are building for the Mountain Tough Plus community. And we have Jimmy, Sarah, and Heather Lee. And it's an awesome time. She's here at the lab with us in Bozeman, which has been a phenomenal day. And background information on why we are here and what we are talking about is that the community drives our product. So the Mountain Tough community drives what we create and how we create it. And so we are creating Mountain Tough Plus for you. And one of the most common things that was requested in our latest community survey was a ton of mobility work, a ton of range of motion work. And it was certainly the number one thing that we heard from the community is more mobility, more range of motion that they could do before, after their programs, whatever Mountain Tough Plus program they're following. They could add this as an accessory to be better functional athletes. So we've been working on that content for you with Heather, and it's been going awesome.
Yeah, super fun. Excited to be here.
I'm really excited too. I think for me, the story is kind of cool that I think the Mountain Tough community can really relate to. So I never went to any sort of yoga class my whole life. And then a couple years ago, I was squatting in our gym and I bulged the C4 in my low back. And I tried everything to get that pain to go away. And so I tried PT and lots of PT, and I just really could not get that pain to go away and get that mobility back in my low back until I went to power yoga in Bozeman. And I feel like for me it changed my life and like saved my life in a way. Like I've never like felt better adding that mobility, but also like the like stress reduction has been very helpful. So I'm super excited.
That's great.
Sarah, Jimmy, you see this a lot with your clients, just folks looking for mobility work. Yeah. What are your thoughts on?
Well, there's so many great things about mobility where, it can help you relax, stretching feels good, bring your stress level down, but also it makes you a more functional athlete, so you can do your movements properly. So if you're too tight in certain areas, you're gonna find different patterns and movements to get around that tightness. So this is where this is gonna really play in and really help an athlete or someone at home do the whatever exercise that is for the day is gonna help them perform that exercise a lot better with the right mechanics. So
yeah,
it's gonna really help out a lot with weightlifting.
Yeah.
For sure. Sarah's done that a lot with their clients.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to recognize that, we're utilizing this in order to catapult everything else that we're offering too.
Right.
It's easy to say, okay, guys, make sure you stretch, but really learning how to do it properly, really making sure that like hearing certain cues, some people react and really feel a reaction to certain cues, and others it clicks with something else. That's why it's so beneficial to bring in different coaches that have been doing it for years and years that may provide a new perspective. And that's why we're like so excited to have Heather to kind of guide our athletes that have always stretched but maybe not properly, or moved but maybe not in full range.
Sure.
So that's really exciting.
Yeah, and mobility for me, it's something that I practice, a lot every week. And it's about longevity now. I raced mountain bikes for a long time. I was a gymnast for 18 years. I still work out pretty hard every day, but the mobility is what sort of keeps me on track. I tore my labrum surfing, a year and a half ago. And so it's been that is a road of recovery, and the mobility stuff has made a giant difference. And it's not just about being, super limber, but being strong in your movement around your joints, is what I'm finding the athletes that I coach at home. And it is something that you really have to work into your program and be consistent with. And the benefits are they just skyrocket, where you can go with whatever your practice is.
Yeah.
Not only in the gym, but outside, on the mountain, surfing, riding dirt bikes, hunting, whatever it is.
I think that's really important to bring up because our number one demographic in Mountain Tough is the dedicated backcountry hunter. And most of them have not done any mobility work in their lives. And I think there is a misconception that they don't want to focus on being nimble. But I think that is a myth from everything that I've learned. I think it is all about range of motion and how that helps you have quality movements in everything else that you're doing.
Right.
And like getting your foot over logs without any pain and doing that day after day because your range of motion is there.
Right. And then can I do that with my pack on or whatever it is? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's like for the military athletes, we see that a huge part of it is like that shoulder and low back pain. And they're just a little intimidated to add that mobility work into their normal like workout program.
Right.
And I think that based on like working with you and everything I saw today, and then my life experience of just that bulge disc, I think there should be no intimidation factor. Like these are hard workouts that are building a lot of strength and range of motion.
Correct.
And with all the benefits of reducing stress, I think it's going to change the game.
Yeah, I agree. I've worked with a lot of firefighters, and shoulders and back and hips have always been a thing, from carrying loads and twisting and rotating and taking off that load and just working through the movements dynamically. But then you add in a little bit of the strength, the body weight strength component, and then working through the range of motion and stuff. It like pain starts to dissipate and people start to stand up a little bit taller and have a little bit more awareness about where their body is, and they don't have to think about it so much. It just starts to happen, and then things happen more easily, and then you can move a little bit more freely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm excited to have Heather here for, because if we can get someone on board with this, and like you said earlier, being consistent with it,
Yes.
building that consistency up to where you're doing it every week or every day or every other day, whatever,
Yeah. Your ROI is just like you put in the investment and it's just like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
I can move. This doesn't hurt, and I can lift heavier. I can run faster.
Well, it goes with just even like with weightlifting, if you want to get better at a certain lift, well, you got to be consistent with
Correct.
it.
Yep.
If you want to get more
Same.
mobility, you got to be consistent with it.
Exactly.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. And we filmed coached versions today and uncoached or self-guided versions.
Self-guided, yep.
So, which is super cool because Mountain Tough's philosophy has always been like whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or elite athlete, we are going to have a program available to you in the app. And so with the short 15-minute coached versions, we can walk them through what we're looking for all the way up into like the 30-minute follow-along style.
Right.
That's going to be
A little bit more
burner.
intense. And
Yeah.
yeah, this is not easy stuff. I mean, you're going to work.
Yeah.
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 It's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Final question, Heather. What have you seen with your mobility work? What have you seen in terms of like life change around it helping reduce stress and anxiety in some of the people you work with?
Yeah, so a lot of my clients are it's sort of in that work hard, play hard. I have a lot of execs, people that are sitting a lot, that I've been really, really getting into their hips and their back. And, when they first started coming to see me, it was, they had a hard time forward folding. They were constantly doing this. And they're getting to the point now where they can wake up in the morning and be pain-free and go throughout their day. And then they can do a workout and they're starting to have some heavier lifts. And taking pain out of someone's life is huge. Physical pain causes emotional pain. Emotional pain contributes to physical pain. So getting out of that cycle and being pain-free because you're more mobile is like,
Life-changing.
yeah, it really is
Yeah.
life-changing because, we've all had injuries. I've had a couple recently, and living in pain it's no bueno. Yeah. So if you can do things to help yourself move forward out of that space, it really frees up your mental capacity, your spiritual capacity, whatever that might be for you, and just lets you live a little bit more open.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much. We're stoked you're in Bozeman with
I'm
us.
stoked to be here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.